All right, let's get started. So tonight's webinar is about marketplace challenges, thriving tribes versus network, how you show up in the marketplace, and then we'll close out the webinar with a very light offer for you to experience 30 free days of the BizDev Pro. The reason I bring this up now is because I want your full attention during the webinar because there's going to be a lot of value even though we're just scratching the surface. The reason we offer 30 free days is if you want to dive deeper, we want you to be able to experience the mastery of business development at a deeper level without any risk. And if that fits with you and fits with your destination and the outcome you want to create, then you have a chance to be part of the BizDev Pro, which is a $99 per month subscription. So that way the shoe fell, it's out of the way, we can move on with the webinar and just enjoy ourselves. Now, the reason the webinar is pre-recorded is so that we can edit and re-record and make sure that we can deliver in a short period of time a ton of value and then give you access to the recording as a gift for attending the webinar. And then you can review it at your own leisure and gain some insight, hopefully, from that. So the intro and the outro will be live. The webinar is pre-recorded so that we can do it properly and deliver the highest amount of value. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So marketplace challenges. One of the first things you need to realize from a big picture standpoint and overall economic standpoint, and quite frankly, social and marketplace. So the shrinking middle class impacts social, economic, and marketplace conditions. And we won't go into all of that tonight. It's not a political statement. It's just something to be aware of, that it's much more difficult to find clients and acquire clients in today's world than it was 20, 30 years ago because of the buyer pool being smaller. Now, adversely, technology has given us more opportunity, at least it appears, to be able to acquire clients faster. But again, when you have a smaller buyer pool, supply and demand is going to dictate that it's going to be a little bit tougher to get the dollars for your services that you want. The low velocity of the dollar is another factor. So if you Google velocity of the US dollar and look at images, those graphs will tell you the whole story. And every single graph is going to be pretty much the same thing. You're going to see that the speed of which the dollar is exchanging hands in a given unit of time, and that's, trust me when I tell you, that's a really light definition. If you want to understand more, you need to study the velocity of the dollar, and it's quite complicated in many ways. But just suffice to say that people are holding on to their money a little bit more. In fact, the graphs will show that the velocity of the dollar since 2006 is actually at an all-time low, lower than the Great Depression. In addition to that, there's an extreme amount of noise, and noise comes in the form of communication and connectivity. We live primarily in a digital communication world today. And the great news about that is you can communicate at the speed of thought. The not so great news is so is everyone else. And so it's really created in us a retreating into a castle where we're actually blocking out information. And when we block out information, so is everyone else, making it difficult for us to pierce the noise and communicate what it is we want to tell the marketplace. And this is where Thriving Tribe comes in, because it is an absolute proven, tested, and amazing concept to penetrate the noise and start achieving more of what you desire, whether it's relationships, growing a church, growing a business, improving your family. Tribe applies to every area of life. But primarily what we found is that people are attracted to us and they want to learn why Thriving Tribe versus network, because they want to know how to get more clients and how to grow their business, because that's where their time and energy is spent primarily. So I'm going to give you a couple key points to Thriving Tribes and what really what the difference is between network or even relationship. And this isn't the full story, it's just scratching the surface. You can learn more when you experience your 30-day trial in the BDP as we dive deeper, and you'll have access to online resources and events. So first and foremost, Thriving Tribe is about a positive, productive, and empowering culture that you and your relationships agree on and create inside of the tribe. It's got to be positive, it's got to be productive, and it's got to be empowering, or else you're not going to hold people together, and then the relationships scatter and it starts to look more like network. Now, true mastermind comes out of this. When you create the harmonic culture inside of the tribe, then you start to get a sharing of mental intellect and insights and the energetic properties of really a collective mind. And so what we do here is we mentally collaborate on ideas to move forward. And when we talk about moving forward, we're talking about enriching your life, enriching lives of others, and enriching the planet. If you can hit those three objectives in every interaction, what we call a win-win-win, enrich yourself, enrich others, and enrich the tribe, then you're doing really, really well. Call it a good day, because it is. What this leads to is real collaboration. And real collaboration is the physical action of collaborating, taking action, taking the next logical step, and creating outcomes. A lot of people talk and a lot of people mastermind or think. And thought alone will not be enough. It has to be the thought and the intellect plus physical action. A thriving tribe will do this. Tribe alone won't. Relationships necessarily won't, or won't necessarily, I should say. But a thriving tribe is going to be very focused on putting in action. Action towards what? What's most important to you as an individual, others in the tribe, and the collective tribe. And what this creates, when you've got harmonic culture, a true mastermind, and real collaboration, you feel a strong sense of belonging to team, something even higher than family. Oftentimes family can be dysfunctional, so we don't want to give the wrong idea. But imagine a very functional and successful and caring family. You create that in your tribe, which produces more of everything that you want when you're mindful of the principles and the DNA of tribe, which we teach in the BizDev Pro. And so you're just getting a taste of that tonight. It all begins with personal responsibility. If we were looking at the fifth DNA of thriving tribes, it's authentic leadership. And I often teach authentic leadership as really three things and then a whole lot of detail under that. But the three things are humility, accountability, and responsibility. So when you take responsibility to transmute your network into nurturing relationships, and then you don't stop there. That's where most people stop and they don't create thriving tribe. But when you take responsibility to now transmute your relationships into thriving tribe, then you really create something that can 10x plus your growth. So how you show up in the marketplace. Number one, know who you are. It's so important. I can't tell you how many times I ask people, so tell me who you are and what you're all about. And they usually will say, well, I'm a plumber, or I'm an accountant, or I'm this, right? And I'm like, no, I want to know, what's your mission? Like, who are you in the world? And how are you showing up that way? That's first and foremost what I want to know. And then how you will add value to others. Now, this is an extremely important part, and this is where we really want to dive into the theme of this particular webinar tonight. Next week will be a different theme, a little bit of review, but each week we'll have multiple different topics that will help you to master business development, and we'll share just kind of the surface of that topic. And then, of course, there's the full program inside of the BDP. But how will you add value to others? What are the top three ways? Oftentimes people will say, well, I'm going to teach them how to properly buy or sell a house. Well, if we just took the Phoenix area alone, where I live, there are 45,000 real estate agents that believe that same answer is how they add value to others. So if I met all 45,000 and they all said they were going to teach me how to buy or sell a house, you might not win me over. So look for the top 3 ways outside of your products and services that broaden your scope of how you can add value to others, because one of the first components to building thriving tribe is quantity. Don't pigeonhole yourself into relationships that only want your products and services. Remember, tribe is an ecosystem. It's not about target market. It's an ecosystem. And when you create that thriving ecosystem, you earn the trust inside of the ecosystem of your target market. How will you monetize adding value to others? That's another important question. Where most people are failing, when they are failing, is 80+% of their energy is or should be spent building or creating new business, especially when they're starting out. Or if they have the bullet point on their task list, need new customers, which is by studies, we know that the number one challenge facing small business is finding and keeping customers. If that is the case, then how will you monetize all of the activity and energy you put in to actually identify, line up, and time perfectly who's going to be your client? The fact is, for most people, the client is a needle in a haystack in today's world, because there are so many people doing what you do, and there are so many people being told that they should do what you do or use you, and so, or someone like you. So when you look at spending time, energy, and money effectively, how will you monetize the activities that currently aren't being monetized unless you find a client? That's the deep discussion on its own. So we'll have to cover a lot more of that in the training. But most likely, however you're showing up to add value to others and how you're monetizing non-client activity is probably not the highest and best path. We've seen that after working with thousands of people. We've really seen that most people are missing a big chunk of lifestyle, time, money, relationships, because they haven't figured out how to convert their non-client into the highest and best outcome. So we want to invite you to master business development by taking our 30-day challenge to come in and start learning our information and producing real-time results. It doesn't take 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. If you start the accurate thought, activity, and habit now, we believe that within 30 days, you will be making tremendous progress. And so what we offer in that is we offer mentorship, online learning, online resources, mastermind, events, and lucrative opportunities to monetize your tribe. Now, number 6, not everybody enrolls in that side of what we do. You automatically get the opportunities when you enroll as a BizDev Pro. However, some people use our system just to grow their real estate business or their consulting practice or their insurance or their financial business or their small retail store. They want to build thriving tribe that supports them in their retail store. And if you want to monetize all the other activity, then we have a monetization model for you. Okay, so these are the resources you get. You get those for 30 days for free. If you continue with the program, it's a simple $99 per month. Now, if you want to take advantage of that, all you do is go to thebizdevpro.com and get a code from the person that invited you to this webinar. If you don't have someone that invited you, just fill out the consultation form and we'll give you the code. But if Michael invited you to the webinar, then Michael's first and last name, all caps, put that in the code and it'll get you the 30 days free. And we'll look forward to working with you and for you and supporting your journey as a master at business development.